Chapter 27. Bidash, 9th of March, present day. Is this real life? Wish it was fantasy. Feels like an aneurysm that's affecting my brain plasticity. My mouth reverts to fish-like movements momentarily, then clamps shut. Although my thoughts are in a state of disarray akin to the bedroom of a sugar-fueled temper tantrum toddler on a rampage, the key question is so blindingly obvious that I force it out. Eventually. How? I ask plaintively. When you crawled across me in the great hall of Lavore, so righteous in your desire to undo Nisitas's evil, I was dying, but not yet dead, though close to it. I watched you as you neared that chalice, and I cheered you on even as I slowly lost my grip to the agonizing pain, about to pass on, saved, and ready to escape the endless wheel of the physical world, thanks to you. I shuddered in horror as the magics of Almeric stopped you, locked up inches away from the cup, overflowing with the souls of the other perfect, so desperately close to ending their plans with your hand outstretched. Then I watched you damn yourself as I died. The undercurrent of anger in his tone mounts throughout his description of that fateful moment, swirling around a bitter sarcasm that colours his words. I look at him, unsure of the reason but confident in my actions of so long ago. I did what had to be done, I reply. Did it have to be done, Paul? Did it really? Did you think for 1 second about the effect that would have on your eternal salvation? Did you think about the effect it would have on each of the souls you had saved during your time as perfect by marring yourself? About what it would do to me, given my new status of perfect that you'd gifted me the night before with my consolamentum? Ruined, meaningless. You might have been happy to become nothingness, to dissolve into non-existence, but I was not. I knew it was because of your interactions with that accursed Jew, the heinous poison he'd dripped into your thoughts that led you to embracing dark sorcery in that last moment, but I didn't have time to dwell upon it. I could only experience the dreadfulness of watching you fall, taking me with you before I was gone from that life, but not from this blasted prison we remain in every single day. I shake my head. Are you suggesting I should have just left them be? Let them steal the souls of all our fellow Cathars for whatever lunatic fucking purposes they were going to use them for? They snatched their bodies. That was bad enough, Ben. Would you have had me leave them to torment our friends, possibly for eternity? So to beat them, you became them, he hisses. Since when did the end justify the means? Look at the sordid shell you are now of the man of the good God that you once were. I see the judgment that you pass on me written in broad strokes across your face, but it is you who deserves judgment. Those hollow smiles and quick, empty jokes carried as camouflage for the unrepentant killer you are now. Steeped in your comfortable skin and all the trappings of modern life, the very antithesis of what Catharism is about. And how many have you killed since then, Paul? How many souls did you leave in torment or throw back onto the lower rungs of the cycle of reincarnation, taking away their chance to repent and become better? Who made you the good goddamn judge to act as a higher force on those you see as unworthy of a chance at salvation? My features harden, a mix of anger tinged with shame at the banded insults. I gave up on the good God a long time ago, after he gave up on us. You know I'm no perfect these days. That's why I'm still here after all, but I've done the best I can with the time given to me to try to do the right thing. I've never killed without justification or for any reason except to protect others. I'm not claiming that I always got every call correct, but I've kept true to the moral code I developed over all this time. I like to believe that Paul the Perfect would have understood how I've arrived where I am, both materially and spiritually. What happened to the man I called brother and held as my shield to commit the acts that I've encountered, killing on a whim, torturing, kidnapping, who knows what else? What would Benedict the Saved have said? Ben sneers at me, the crinkling of his leathery, wizened face submerging that momentary vision of my old friend. Says The man who lies down with monsters, partnering with the likes of that abomination lurking in the Quran, not to mention your heathen mentor and your Arab lover. The forge shaping my anger explodes in engulfing heat. I don't even know where to start on that latter part. I'll take the blame regarding Frank. There's some justice there, one between me and my conscience that I'll have to live with. But how have you remained so lost in your fucking idiotic prejudices as to judge others for their origins or faith? Isaac is literally the best human being I've ever met, but you're still hung up over him being a Jew, and you level accusations of unjustified superiority at me. As for Aisha, well, it's true that I love and admire that woman more than you might understand. She is amazing. In a world that bends on a whim for praise, she stands unbreaking by her truths. She doesn't crack or cave before pressures like normal people, immortal or otherwise, but always acts as she believes to be correct, always embraces the consequences without making excuses or pleading ignorance. You know who she reminded me of when I met her? You! Or rather, who I always thought you were. I spent fucking decades, mourning your death. When I met her, I finally regained the strong right arm those bastards severed when I thought they killed you. I gained a sister to replace the brother I mourned across lifetimes. It fixed a part of my heart broken since the moment I watched them butcher you. That's why I love her, Ben. That's how I love her. And I don't understand how you don't get it. Instead, you slander it because you cannot believe in genuine friendship, the filial definition of love between a man and a woman. It's a sign of your failure as a human being, mate, not ours. The vicious, bitter old man in front of me pauses and seems to droop, leaning more heavily onto his cane. I was always your friend. There's been many days and nights I've cursed your name, times I hated you so much that I hunted you down, made sure you died, just to assuage that anger for a moment, even knowing it was only temporary, and you'd pop back up like the tarnished bad penny you've become. Do you know how many of your accidental deaths have been because of my interference? His hand trembles on the top of his stick, and his eyes flick up to mine, tracing the shape of my face before they drop back down, and still, I've missed you, Paul. More than I can possibly say. Under different circumstances, that might have tugged at my heartstrings, not least thinking of all the nights I've lived with the guilt of Ben's death. But Aisha is burning, and I can feel that same fire in my chest. For all your monologuing, I don't exactly feel like I'm in the welcome embrace of an old friend right now. I flick my eyes upwards to the head clamp, then down to my restraints. Ben pushes on the head of his stick, straightening up, his expression blanking, closing down. I hardly thought you'd be open to listening to reason, even if it's all for your own good, he replies, a maniacal gleam in the freezer depths of his glare. It chills my building anger, his complete control, the same as it chills my soul. The only sort of people who talk about doing things for others' own good are parents and psychopaths. Possibly both. Definitely the latter. What happened to you, Ben? I whisper. The restraints chafe at my wrists, rubbing at the skin, pulling me back to the present moment. The reality of this macabre hellhole of a chamber he's trapped me in. Chapter 20.